We're going squatching.
We're going squatching, bitches. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I am Josh.
I am Lennon always.
Oh, behave. This is Don't Touch My Sasquatch. I went with Austin Powers. You went with the topic.
Yeah.
We explore controversial topics with energy and a good laugh. We're two guys who have a love and passion for these topics, things you may have heard of, but may not know the full story of yet. Well, we're here to tell you those stories, share our opinions, and let you come to your own conclusions. Keep your mind open to the possibilities that things may not always be as they appear. We'll do the research. That way you don't have to. Now, the year is 1966. The Beatles are in the middle of their height of popularity. While recording an album one night, they had a heated argument in which Paul McCartney stormed out. What is rumored to have happened next has intrigued the minds of music-loving conspiracy theorists all over. Did Paul McCartney die on the night and get replaced by a look-alike? And what clues, if any, were left for us all to find and decipher? Well, sit back, relax, put your tinfoil hats on as we dive into the conspiracy of Paul McCartney's death.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out at the end.
We'll figure it out.
Yep.
We'll figure it out.
We'll go on a journey together. You know, tell some tales, tell some jokes.
Or as you
Get
said,
some
in
laughs.
you said in one episode, we went on a journey and we took a ride.
Yeah. Still true to this day. I go on a journey every day.
Yeah, he said.
But
to begin the show off, I need this.
already.
Here
He's
we go.
cracking it.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Bubbles.
And a hiccup. Bubbles and a hiccup. It sounds like a stripper.
It's a stripper duo.
Bubbles and a hiccup.
What does hiccup look like?
She's special needs.
Oh, God.
Bubbles.
Oh, fuck.
Bubbles can shoot bubbles out of certain areas of her body.
Jesus.
It's a lovely
my God,
thing. It's a great talent.
Hiccup.
Oh, hiccup.
It's a classic. Woo.
Oh,
fuck.
it's a great time.
Shit, yeah, so we're talking about the Beatles. So,
The Beatles?
the Beatles. like I said, it's Obi-Wan, but slower and a little deeper.
I'm going to do my best not to try this.
Hello
and
there.
You do it well. I cannot do it. But then again, your namesake is
Ringo.
clearly he hated the name, so he changed it to Lennon.
Oh, shit. Yes, I was named after Jonathan
McCartney. I almost said Picard.
Picard. Captain Jonathan Picard. I don't even think Jonathan's his first name.
John Luke Picard.
Okay, so it is Jonathan. You win this one, Joshua. Many times I introduce myself to people, I always either have to clarify with like John Lennon, or they'll be like John Lennon? Twice in my life, this has probably happened around 1,000 times at this point, but twice in my life I've asked, like the Russian guy? No, not him.
Nope.
Wrong Lennon.
Stalin? I know.
Okay,
different person.
Thank
I'm
you.
just.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I was scared for a minute.
No.
The history brain clicked on. I was like, I'm gonna school him.
Oh, I'm gonna school this motherfucker.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
parents named me John Lennon. Shout out mom and dad.
Yes,
I've heard the alternative names and I appreciate Lennon.
All right, Indigo Blue. Let's go.
Ah, shit. The Beatles.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. This is something that I know my oldest brother, your father.
That is my dad.
Yeah, and our father, yeah, our father also are big into the Beatles, and my uncles and stuff. And you, which I didn't know how big you were into the Beatles.
A very big fan.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew most of my family was.
So when I
So
was...
indirectly, I I'm a fan of the Beatles.
The battles.
The battles of the Beatles.
I love them battles.
Bah, bah. The Beatles as well.
Yes.
Proceed.
When I was
A wee lad.
When I was a wee lad. Touch me again. I'll kill you.
I had to stretch. My knee was hurting. I'm sorry.
When I was a kid, my dad had the Yellow Submarine animated movie that they did. Jesus, so much adjusting.
That was me peck going, ha.
Oh, you're trying to adjust the mic with your pecs? See, he had the Yellow Submarine animated movie, and that was like the first real young memories of the Beatles. I remember, obviously, he had albums, CDs, and stuff we would listen to in the car. And then shortly after that, I transitioned to watching the Hard Day's Night movie that they did, and I watched that many times. So from a young age, I was big into the Beatles.
Did you watch the one on Disney Plus?
The documentary one?
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
I watched the first one, and then, well, I don't have Disney Plus anymore, so.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So.
Tough break.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love the Beatles. How many of them are? I'm just kidding.
There's 5. Don't forget Best.
Best. He left.
Best?
Best or
Best?
Talk about them. Best.
I don't want to step on your grounds.
Yes.
How about we get into a little Lennon's History Corner?
Well, I'm not getting there yet.
Hey, fucking hold your horses. Goddamn impatient people.
Well, if you were asked to sum up the 60s in a few short terms, you'd be hard-pressed not to say Beatlemania.
See.
The Beatles revolutionized music and what it could be, and had the ability through their music and charm to possess the world and change... Nope, not change.
In chains?
Not change.
Wow.
Only one of them changed their name, and make their names last for decades and most likely centuries. But where do their stories begin, and what long and winding road took them to the top level of stardom and fame? Well, come together, everyone, and let's learn the origin stories of these nowhere men.
Right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to build a pyramid, paint some paintings, and start a revolution. Get ready for Lennon's History Corner. Yes, we're back.
On the ones and twos.
Now, to feel like a cooler guy, I shrunk my notes down to smaller text. Problem is now is I need them bigger. So we're just going to adjust that quick.
Just do a little whoop.
So, where do their stories begin? Well, I'll tell you where they begin, as you would say. It all began in 1542 at the Battle of Solway Moss.
Not quite.
The English army had just won the war. Fast forwarding a little bit to Liverpool, England, in 1957. Fantastic city. Absolutely hate their team. Go Manchester United. Just had to put that out there for our UK listeners.
Yeah.
If you're a Liverpool fan,
fuck them.
Just consider going red, you know.
Going red?
Yeah, Manchester United.
But
Liverpool's red. That didn't make sense. A 16-year-old who went by the name a 16-year-old who went by the name of John Lennon is performing with his band called The Quarrymen. During rehearsal for the show on one fateful night, the bass player for the band introduced John to his classmate, a 15-year-old they referred to as Paul McCartney. Paul was asked to play a few songs with them that night and eventually went on to become a permanent member of the group shortly after. I forgot to say. In October, at Paul's first official gig with the Quarrymen, he had a large guitar solo in one of the many songs.
Holy shit. Let's calm that down a little bit, buddy. We want to be a little more easy.
He did the Marty McFly, and
yeah.
Maybe you're not ready for that yet. Quoting Paul in the anthology documentary, he said of that night, "Things were going fine, but when the moment came in the performance, I got sticky fingers. I thought, what am I doing here? I was just too frightened, and it was too big a moment with everyone looking at the guitar player. I couldn't do it, and that's why George was brought in." So with a little help from his friends, a 15-year-old, whose name is pronounced George Harrison, is brought into the group as their lead guitarist.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The three
little pigs?
I don't know what the noise was. What were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. Just a little help from his friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to point out every fucking one I can.
You've missed like 5.
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I
good.
just can't hit them all.
So quick. So gifted.
It's like a Gatling gun.
These 3 lads would go on to form the core of the group and formed a lifelong friendship.
As well as Buzzards in the Jungle Book movie.
Can't get that reference, but okay.
You don't?
I've never heard of the Jungle Book. I'm just kidding. I just don't remember it. Yeah, I just don't remember the Buzzards.
So, from what I remember, the 3 or 4 buzzards, I think it was 4 buzzards, in the Jungle Book, they wanted them to be voiced by the Beatles or something.
Sure.
That's why if you look at them, the buzzards all have like the same haircuts and look like them.
I will have to do some research. That's cool.
But for some reason they couldn't, so they had somebody else voice them. But
Fair enough.
I just thought, I'd throw that interjection in.
That's cool.
Ding.
That got the cool stamp of approval. Throughout the next few years, the Quarrymen would play every and any gig they could. Mm-hmm. And during this time, they changed names a couple times before finally settling on
4, 5, 6, 7.
the Beatles, a name credited to its creation by John and at the time their current bass player, Stuart Sutcliffe, by combining Beatles, like the insect, and beat as in the musical term. Fun fact trivia hour.
Okay.
Which of these 3 names was a name that the Beatles temporarily went by?
The second one.
Johnny and the Moondogs, the Silver Beatles, and the Silver Beats.
Silver Beats.
All of them. Just kidding. Gotcha.
You are a dick licker.
Yeah. They
yeah, I am.
Well, I'm not that, but I got you, bitch. In 1960, the Beatles saw a constant line of drummers in and out. It got to the point where Paul even stepped in to play drums for a gig. The consistent lineup around this period was Paul, John, George, and Stuart. Their manager at the time, Alan Williams, had an idea for them to play shows abroad after the proven success with other bands. Mm-hmm. So the Beatles were set to go to Hamburg and perform.
You okay?
Germany was selected. I completely missed that note. Germany was selected as their destination.
Yes.
So the Beatles were set to go to Hamburg and perform. But the issue remained of locking down a drummer for the band. They wanted to go over there and just play a bunch of gigs, but finding a drummer in Germany,
yeah, time to get beat best.
I don't know what that was. Time to get a piss.
No, I don't gotta take a piss.
In a bum?
In a bum?
So they needed to lock down a drummer in a bum. In August of 1961, before their magical mystery tour of Germany, they hired a drummer named Pete Best to round out the now quintet. So they got a ticket to ride and shipped off to Hamburg.
And yes, I've missed calling out a couple, but I can't.
It's okay. You don't need to call
I will
them
stop you 500 times.
Take it for the listeners. Take a shot every time I make a Beatles joke.
Don't do it.
I will be responsible for alcohol poisoning. I am sorry. The 1 sentence.
Whew, I'm toast already.
So they heard this guy, Pete Best, play. Yeah.
Hire me, bitch.
It sounded just like that.
Banging away.
They heard him play in some gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then they hired him. And now they got him in the band. They played regular shows in Hamburg for what seemed like 8 days a week throughout 1961 and 1962. And when talking about it in the anthology deck, John Lennon said, "It was Hamburg that did it. That's where we really developed. To get the Germans going and keep it up for 12 hours at a time, we really had to hammer."
You did, because the Germans are a pretty serious group of people. They don't crack smiles.
Yep.
Bippity-bop.
Maybe. We would never have developed as much as if we'd stayed at home. We had to try anything that came into our heads in Hamburg. There was nobody to copy from. We played what we liked best, and the Germans liked it as long as it was loud.
That sounds like the Germans.
And it sounds the German way. During this time, they also played shows intermittently back home in Liverpool. And it was at one of these shows that a local record store owner named Brian Epstein, who had heard rumors of them in his record store, attended to see what they were all about. He attended a few shows intermittently, and on December 10th of 1961, he approached the group to talk to them about managing him. And in January of 1962, the group signed a 5-year contract with him.
He was a record store owner?
His family owned a record store, and he worked in his family's record store. I think they came from money. It says that he was like an entrepreneur and stuff.
Just kind of funny. Record store owner goes, I want to manage you guys.
Yeah. Well, he had heard people would come in and they would talk about going to see them. Yeah. They were playing a shit ton of shows.
That's not what I'm saying. Oh. I was more saying the
jump of profession.
Yes.
Oh, I got you.
From a music store owner to a manager?
Well, I didn't dive into his backstory too much. He may have had some kind of background on it. Okay. But the Beatles may not have been where they were without it.
Oh, no, absolutely.
The Beatles would not have been where they got to.
Absolutely.
He was a very
I wasn't saying he didn't do his job.
No, I know you're not. I'm just giving him credit because I noticed I didn't until later on.
Till now.
Yeah. 1962 would prove to be a very big year for them. And
that's when we became the Fab Four.
Well, it would be a big year for them with lots of ups and downs. There was ups and downs.
Like us.
Yeah, that's this year for us.
A lot of ups, little downs. But still.
On April 10th of that year.
1962?
Yep.
I wasn't questioning. I was just...
Thank you.
Joining you.
Stuart Sutcliffe died of a brain hemorrhage. And
I don't actually know who that is.
Do you not listen to me? That was their bass player, John's friend. Are you joking? Fucker. Instant beratement.
You serious? You don't listen to me? Woo. Might I bring you back to the 3 pyramids of Giza that are in the line of the...
That thing I do. Woosah. Well.
Yeah.
On June 6th.
July not.
Of 1962. The group recorded for the first time at EMI Studios at 3 Abbey Road, St. John's Wood, London. Fun fact about me, I've been there.
Have you really?
Yes, when I went to England.
When you were John Lennon?
Oh, yeah. I
got the same beard, just different color.
I don't have the same beard.
I know you don't. But you did have a big beard at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like Jeebus.
A little bit. So yes, I did go there when I went to England. And
nice.
It's pretty cool. They got a whole big thing about it there.
Yeah.
And I walked across the crosswalk at my mother's request, and I was not too thrilled.
Don't lie. You wanted to. You just
it was
felt
pretty
like
cool. It was pretty cool.
Let's say, don't lie.
It was pretty cool.
Was there a cemetery over there?
Couldn't tell you. It was like almost 10 years ago for me.
That's it? 10 years?
Yeah.
You can't remember what happened 10 years ago?
No, but I can quote a movie I've seen once when I was 3.
Exactly. I don't remember the place. It was a big deal to me, but I don't remember it.
It was at night, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't remember.
Oh, so you really were holding up fucking traffic.
Yeah.
The nightlife was like, come on, little fucker.
Move, you fucking American.
My name's Lennon, though.
Well, yes. Many different stories on the true events of what transpired next with Pete Best circulate even now. But the gist is that Pete Best was seen to not be fitted for what the producer and the manager of the Beatles saw for their future. And whether internal conflicts with him from the group are true, most likely are, the decision was made that he would be shown the door on August 16th of 1962.
There it is right there. That's the door, guys.
That's the door.
That's the door.
Don't let it hit you on the way out, friend.
Why are you showing me where the door is?
With judgment handed down by Epstein after a long discussion with all parties except for Best.
Fuck Best.
And 2 days later, a one Mr. Richard Starkey was hired as their new replacement drummer.
Richard Starkey.
That's his name.
And
I know. Okay.
And his stage name was?
Richard Stark. No. Everyone knows Ringo Starr. With a solid core group now set in stone, a committed campaign of promoting the band by Epstein took place. And in January of 1963, their first UK symbol.
Huh.
Their first UK single, Please Please Me, was released and topped the UK charts. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest is history. Gasoline, meet fire. But what if I were to tell you that something you've already heard of but may not know the full story of yet? Paul died in 1966 and the band covered it up? Question mark.
Yesterday.
All my troubles seem so far away.
Now they're fucking here to stay.
Anyway, the conspiracy is thus born, sort of,
Yes, it
more or
is.
less, in a few years after that. Well, fast forwarding through time, all the fame, ups and downs, ladies' screams and excitement, and many absolutely incredible albums to 1969.
Good year.
Good year. We begin this story in September with a student reporter at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. The student reporter published an article called, "Is Beatle Paul McCartney Dead?"
Is Beatle Paul McCartney dead?
This is thought to be the first written evidence of the theory. Its flames were really fanned to spread this wildfire of a rumor when a caller, using evidence published in the article, called in to a Detroit radio station, WKNR-FM,
Hard rock.
and gave a full breakdown with evidence. DJ Russ Gibb and numerous callers spent that evening on the air discussing the evidence and clues as presented by the mysterious British caller with a thick Liverpoolian accent. That's not true.
I was about to say, hey, I didn't know this part.
No, that's not true. I spent the morning, I've known this and I've watched interviews and live stuff there before, but the Beatles interviews, fucking hilarious. They were funny as hell.
Really?
Yeah, John was funny. I mean, they all were, but he...
I will have to watch some then, because
you should watch them. They're funny shit.
Yeah.
They... Yeah. Yeah, haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. But after that radio broadcast,
what the fuck happened?
I don't know. After that, other media outlets began to pick up the story and run with it, and thus the legend is born.
Paul is dead. Miss him.
Yes, piecing together clues as supposedly hidden by the now Fab Three, the story of the events goes as follows.
Tell us.
After a heated fight during a recording session of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, my favorite album of theirs, Paul McCartney left in a fit of rage and was brutally killed in a car accident on November 9th of 1966. Some versions of this theory claim he was actually even decapitated.
Yeah, I've seen that.
After mourning their loss in secret for a few days, it was decided that to spare the fans...
Only a few days. Best friend. Dead. Give you 2 days.
After this, it was decided that they would cover up the tragic death and hosted a lookalike contest in secret and found a man... No, found a man...
Nam. They went to Vietnam.
Found a man named William Shears or William Campbell, depending on the theory.
Or Pete Best. Or
He did everything he could to get back into the band.
I got this, guys. Don't worry.
Just the confidence you had on that.
What the hell's his name? Shit.
Jesus. He needed it back any way possible. He was plotting this for 6 years. 4 years.
Holy Christ. I'm crying. Billy Shears. I wanted to say Billy Shears, not Pete Best.
Well, William is the long.
I know.
Okay.
Most people.
Best.
That guy's got. He's on my mind.
Oh my God. Well.
If you're just joining us and Lennon looks like he's crying, he was.
Oh, fuck.
He really loves Paul.
He needed back. Oh, fuck. Well, after some light plastic surgery and some teaching of Paul's mannerisms and just general musical, vocal, and songwriting talent, voila, Paul is back, bitches.
Oh, and turning him from a right-handed to left-handed.
Oh, there we go, yeah. Paul's back, bitches. Now it seems at this point that the decision to hide his death was not the choice of the Fab Three, and feeling guilty about lying to their fans, they began leaving clues and secret messages to reveal the truth in their songs and art.
Yes.
Basic gist of the theory.
Yeah.
Side note, in my research, I stumbled upon a quote from Paul in 1970. Paul in quotation.
You mean Pete Best?
From Paul in 1974 during an interview with Rolling Stone that amused me. Mm-hmm. He said, "Someone from my office rang me up and said, 'Look, Paul, you're dead.' And I said, 'Oh, I don't agree with that.'" That's pretty good. Oh, man.
I guess I'd be the last person to know when I'm dead.
That's another clue from him.
Yeah.
Or clue.
Quote.
That's the word. From Pete.
We've gone off the rails.
Yes. So let's get into some of these clues. And we're going to start with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yes, sir.
Great album. Fantastic album. Even incredible.
It's pushing it a little bit.
Listen here, motherfucker.
I love all their albums.
So, a constant barrage of clues has been, quote unquote, discovered throughout the past 50 years? 50, 40, whatever. Math is difficult for the brain. So, let's start with the cover art. Mm-hmm. Paul is the only one facing the camera, while the other three are turned inward towards him. And act as, quote unquote, pall bearers. you.
Tricky sons of bitches.
Yeah. Comedian Izzy Bond is pictured behind him, holding his palm above and open over Paul's head, signifying death in Eastern mysticism. Paul is the only member holding a black instrument. That was on. That whimsical. Paul is the only member holding a black instrument, also an indication of death. And if you held a mirror up to the bass drum on the cover, the
Lonely Hearts turns into a one. Then it spells out one.
IX. IX.
Which is 9.
He die. Yes, which is supposedly 1 is 11. Yes. IX is Roman numeral 9. He died. So 11-9. Which in England they do day first, not month.
We'll get to that.
Okay, sorry.
You're not supposed to be doing that part.
Well, I'll hit a few in this, and then you can go through and give me the answers.
Why don't you do the cover? I'll do the
at the bottom.
Or do you want to do the album and then
I'll just hit like them as the group you got, and then you can just give them me after.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if you want to do the cover or the whole album.
No, I'll just do cover, and I'll do them in that category order. Also, in front of them at the lower portion of the cover, there is Paul's bass guitar, as it looks like.
Yes.
In flowers, but if you look closely, it may spell out Paul.
If you trace it, Paul question mark, right?
Paul question mark, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paul? But it's also supposed to look like a funeral, like a freshly buried body.
Correct, yes.
Is that all on the cover?
Yes.
Well, all right. Now it's my turn to talk about the cover. Well, as for Paul facing the camera and the other three facing him as pallbearers,
yes.
Outtakes of the photo show they tried many different poses, and Paul was not always in the middle, and he was also not always under the hand, obviously not in the middle.
Right.
He wasn't always facing the camera. Sometimes he wasn't even looking at the camera. And Ringo, in one shot, Ringo actually took his place underneath the palm from Izzy Bond. Now let's move down. Izzy Bond, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry. You started laughing. I was like, oh, did I fuck up again?
No, you didn't.
Also about the open palm.
Yes.
There's actually no indication that it actually means and is a sign of death. So there's that to keep in the back of the head.
Sweet. Keep
in the back of your head. Now, Paul being the only member to have a black instrument. Well, in the outtake photos of the covers, I tried. And the outtake photos of the cover as well show that Paul isn't always holding the black instrument. Sometimes he's holding a brass instrument. So that's not even consistent.
Yep.
Let's look at the Lonely Hearts, which you've kind of touched on already.
Sorry.
Mirrored image of the 119, he dead. Date format doesn't hold up to the UK standard format of day, month, year. So it would actually read 9/11, which is a whole different bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Also, November 9th is the day Lennon met Yoko at the Indica Gallery in London. So that's another significant day.
But also
take with it as you will.
Think about how incredible and far-fetched for them to find a word that exactly mirrored a date of a significant event that they could convey. You know what I mean? It's just very coincidental.
That I think is a coincidence.
Exactly.
I mean, lastly,
Yep.
the guitar at the bottom in the burial.
The guitar.
I did proper. According to the photographer Peter Blake,
Blake.
the guitar made of flowers was a suggestion from one of the assistants during the shoot. The fact that it spells Paul ? Is merely a coincidence.
Yes.
So it was a last-second ad. But
I went to Liverpool.
you did?
Yeah.
It's almost like I've heard this.
Yeah. No, Abbey Road's in London.
I thought you said Liverpool you've been to.
I've been to England. I went to many different times.
Oh, you said you could do a Liverpool accent.
Yeah.
My bad.
And I went to the Beatles Museum there, and they actually have Sgt. Pepper's cover, like part of it's the poster and stuff like that. Yeah. But they had the whole like bottom burial. They had the whole bottom with the flowers and everything like that, all like exactly perfectly detailed. This is kind of cool to look at.
That's cool. Did it recreation?
Somewhere. Yeah, I have pictures somewhere.
That's awesome.
Of all of my trip, but so moving on, opening up the fold of the album.
Yeah, I think they call it a gatefold, but gatefold, I might have misheard that.
Picture of all four. There's a picture of all four of them.
Picture all four of them.
And Paul has on the picture a patch on his left shoulder that read OPD.
Also known as officially pronounced dead.
Well, that's what they took it as, the acronym.
Yeah, in British. In British, that's what it is. OPD.
Yeah.
It's kind of like our DOA.
Yes. Great Foo Fighter song.
Right? Okay, now we're going to look at some alternate photos again.
Uh-huh.
If I can find them, of course, they'll be in the video.
Yep.
It is clear that the patch reads OPP, which is actually the Ontario Provincial Police. Provincial. Oh, fuck me. Provincial. Whatever. I don't know how to say it.
Providential.
Nope.
I know.
Not even close. Anyways, it says OPP, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, it's a Canadian police patch. But it looks cool and it fit on there.
I think it was given to him as an honor,
sure,
or something. They put it on there,
something
like that,
baby.
Something
like that. OPP, yeah, you know me.
You down with ODB? Yeah, you know me.
On the back of the album, Paul is the only Beatle with his back facing the camera.
Fucking ungrateful asshole! What an arrogant prick.
Georgiathan Harrison is pointing at the lyric. From She's Leaving Home, Wednesday morning at 5:00 a.m. The supposed time of Paul's death in November 9th fell on a Wednesday in 1966.
Incredible.
Well,
this was just a favorite photo out of a series of photos that were taken for the back cover.
Sure.
So it is coincidental.
Coincidental.
That Harrison, George, as you call him, or Georgiathan. That's right. Georgiathan is pointing to that specific lyric as no other photo. I don't remember how many they take. I don't think they told, but whatever. None of the other photos had him pointing or Paul facing the other way.
Sure.
So, next.
On the music itself, I didn't squeak. The title track ends with the Beatles singing Billy Shears. And When I'm 64 also begins with Billy Shears.
Yeah.
The In the Life track alludes to Paul's death. He blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed was the next line after that. But he blew his mind out in the car.
Well, are you ready for this one?
Sure. Hit me with it. Get out of me!
In Paul McCartney's interview with Rolling Stone in 1974, he answered the question, you were supposedly Billy Shears, according to one of those theories. He said, and I quote, Ringo's Billy Shears. Definitely. That was just in the production of Sgt. Pepper. It just happened to turn out that we dreamed up Billy Shears. It was a rhyme for years, band you've known for all these years, and here he is, the one and only Billy Shears. We thought that's a great little name. That was terrible. Anyways, it's an Eleanor Rigby type name, a nice atmospheric name, and it was leading into Ringo's track. So as far as we were concerned, it was purely and simply a device to get the next song in. You were just singing over there, weren't you?
Yeah. Picks up the rice in the church.
And then my foot fell asleep, and it feels so weird.
Feels so weird. Well, moving on.
Nope.
We're not.
The car death.
Sorry.
The car death lyric was based on the death of Tara Brown, where he died crashing his sports car into a lamppost in December of 1966. Mm-hmm. So those are all the clues. Rebuttals? I think rebuttals sound nice. That I have. Test 2.
Well, moving on to the Magical Mystery Tour.
Album 2 is what I meant. Test 2. There'll be a test on this later.
Well, moving on to the Magical Mystery Tour. On the cover of it, Paul is the only member in black and stands in a crucifixion pose, both indications of death. Also, looking at the stars, they spell out Beatles upside down. There is a phone number, which when called on Wednesday at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m., people claim to get either cryptic messages or actually talk to Billy Shears. Isn't that number the London Mortuary number?
So here's the thing. First off, it spells out Beatles, but if you turn it upside down, it gives you a number. You said it like upside down, it spells out Beatles. just thought I'd point that out for you listeners.
Incredible.
So here's the thing. There are actually 4 numbers you get from it. If you look at it upside down like you were just talking about,
yes,
you get 1 number.
Yes.
But if you look at it through a mirror,
sure,
you get 3 different numbers.
Okay.
So there's really 4 numbers you could be getting, and there's no evidence that calling it at 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. on a Wednesday, you get anybody.
Sure.
So
apparently you get to talk to Billy Shears.
Go ahead.
Imagine they really did swap out Paul for this Billy Shears guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
it's time to sit here.
4:59. Better get on next to the phone.
Here we go. Billy Shears here.
It was me. Hangs up. Another one. Cryptic message insert here.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway.
I love that your mouse was the key thing.
Yeah.
As for Paul being the walrus, if you watch the special, it is clear that it's not Paul as the walrus. It's actually John as the walrus. Have you know the cover I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're all completely covered. You can't tell who's who.
Uh-huh.
If you watch the special, John's actually the walrus. Incredible.
I didn't say that.
John's not dead, though.
John is dead.
At the time.
God
At
damn
the
you.
time.
Damn you. Too soon.
Oh, God, that hurt.
Well, opening up the U.S. version with a 24-page booklet.
Why didn't they give that for the UK?
Because
Fuck the UK. No, I'm joking, guys. I actually like the UK.
So do I.
Yeah.
Go Manchester United.
Go.
4 instances of hands above Paul's head. Page 14, 15, 18, and 24. On page 3, Paul is sitting at a desk with the message "I was" in front of him. And the centerfold.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of Playboy now.
And the centerfold with the fold-out page.
Yeah.
Paul is the only one with shoes on. No, just kidding. Paul is the only one with shoes, and his shoes have blood stains.
Without shoes.
That's what I said. Paul's the only one without shoes.
I thought you said with. I'm sorry.
I might have. I'll just take it from the beginning. Paul's the only one without shoes. And his shoes have blood stains on that next to the bass drum, just above.
They're sitting next to the bass drum, just above
How
page
do you
13.
read your notes?
Because, as you know, I don't write every single word because I'd like to try to have a conversation with you. So it forces me to look at you.
Gotcha. On the centerfold, Paul is the only one without shoes, and his shoes have blood stains on them. Next to the bass drum, just above page 13. That's not it either.
That is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
On page 23, Paul is the only one wearing a black flower. What?
You said 23. I said 23 and me. Sorry.
Oh. Another symbol of death.
Ha!
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
That was that.
That was that, and this is this.
Now let's talk about the real shit. The sign actually says, I, you, was. So that's great English, first off.
That makes
great English.
Thanks for the clarification.
You, was.
It fits with them, though.
It does.
It sounds like a Beatles thing.
It was like an I, then it was we want you sign, but
Yeah.
it says you, and then was.
Want you so bad.
Get it, girl. The centerfold of Paul and being shoeless, well, that's just a personal choice. He's always shoeless, if you notice. That's just what he liked to be. and the blood stains on his shoe that were sitting next to the bass drum.
Shit.
Who put all this shit in my shoes? Well, the bass drum was red, so it kind of looks like it's a reflection off the bass drum onto the shoes.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get into the Black Flower.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get into the Black Flower.
Yep.
In an interview with Life magazine, Paul explains, "I was wearing a black flower because they ran out of red ones." Now, the thing is this doesn't explain why in the special he had a red bouquet of flowers if they ran out of black flowers. But
smoking gun.
no, I mean, sure, one was a bouquet and one was a pin on his chest, so maybe they can't put the bouquet in the pin. But whatever, you get the point.
Sure.
But that is all I have for those rebuttals.
Well, on the record itself, on the songs, near the end of I Am the Walrus, I almost said I Am a Walrus.
No, you're not. We just went over this. You're not.
Near the end of I Am the Walrus, barely heard voices reciting the death of Oswald from Shakespeare's King Lear. You can barely hear voices. When played backwards, you hear a demonic chanting of Paul is dead, haha. In Strawberry Fields Forever, you hear John in the background saying, I buried Paul.
Yeah. That one's...
That one.
Yeah, okay. That's not a backwards one. That's just a...
That's just regular. Yeah. If you don't have the rebuttal for it, I do.
I do.
Okay. Damn.
So, the first one with King's Lear, this is just a coincidence. When they turned on the radio while mixing the song, it just happened to be on the radio at that time, and they captured that moment.
I thought John added it in on purpose. I read.
Either way,
it's on there from the radio.
It's from the radio. It's not on purpose. I mean, it is on purpose, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Paul is dead, haha. When playing back... I got like a frog in my throat.
I thought you took care of this before you came.
I don't think I did I? I drank so much fucking water to stay hydrated for this, and then I had one stupid little chicken wrap, and it was all over. Yeah. Anyways.
Papa's hungry.
The Paul is dead, haha lyric, when heard played backwards, could be chalked up more to like the power of suggestion. It just... I mean, you can. It's like when you say, when you listen to this, do you hear this? And then you listen to it, you hear that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you didn't say that, maybe you don't hear it.
Sure.
Strawberry Fields Forever, the I Buried Paul. Listening to an alternate take on the Beatles anthology 2, Lennon is clearly saying cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce.
Cranberry.
The other thing is actually when listening to it and it says I buried Paul, it essentially sounds like I buried. I didn't hear Paul.
Yeah, you really got to have headphones on.
Gotcha. You really got to have headphones on.
You know, back then they had those like really nice Sony Bluetooth ones that I have where you can really hear it good and clear.
What? No.
Well, moving on to the White Album. Included poster in the album is apparently the only known photo of Billy Shears before his plastic surgery.
Right.
Now, I did not know this, and I looked it up, and I'm curious to see which one it is sometime. You have to point it out to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Which photo? That was not.
Thank you. I'm kind of glad that you did that.
Callback.
All right. I'm going to show you.
I want to see if it's the one I thought it was.
I'm so sorry, because I screenshot this one.
Okay.
So.
In Glass Onion, John tells. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. It's the only picture like it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Because it's like all of them.
I'll talk about that one as well when you're done.
Okay.
Wait. That was just the poster, right?
Yes.
Is more likely just Paul McCartney wearing glasses to me. But if you look closely, you can kind of see a difference in his mustache. And he has a chin difference. I don't know if it's like a weight thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But his chin looks a little different to me. And his mustache has this, kind of like what you have.
I hate that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to point out
no,
like
it's
that.
okay. It's okay.
But if you looked at the Billy Shears picture, it's just like a full mustache like this. You know, like there's no gap there.
Yeah. Fucking dick.
So those are the two things I wanted to point out. In saying that it's probably just a younger or an alternate photo of Paul.
Or just somebody fucking else.
But the point is,
yeah. Well, when you listen to the songs in Glass Onion, John sings, well, here's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul.
Yes, I love.
Yes, Silo?
I was going to say, I have his interview, but I'm going to wait.
At the end of So Tired, we hear gibberish. Played backwards, we hear Paul is dead, man. Miss him, miss him, miss him. Playing the beginning of Revolution 9 backwards, you will hear Turn Me On, Dead Man.
Yes.
Turn me on, dead man.
Turn me on, dead man.
Turn me on, dead man.
So, the Glass Onion song. Paul is not the one I want to talk about. John is. John Lennon did an interview with Playboy
Thanks
magazine.
for the clarification.
Yeah, I did. There's so many Johns. He did an interview with Playboy magazine in April of 1981.
Nice.
He stated that he wrote the lyrics because he felt guilty about choosing Yoko over Paul. Here's his quote. Yeah, that line was a joke, you know? That line was put in partly because I was feeling guilty because I was with Yoko. And I knew I was finally high and dry. In a perverse way, I almost said preservative way. He's preserving himself. In a perverse way, I was sort of saying to Paul, here, have this crumb, have this illusion, have this stroke because I'm leaving you. Anyways, also, Glass Onion was written in 1968, well before the height of the Paul was dead craze. Mm-hmm. And as for the gibberish, that's backwards.
Well, Sgt. Pepper's came out right after, so.
Yeah. Theoretically, he supposedly died in 1966, so I don't know.
But here, this clue, if it was a clue, he's directly addressing the fans, maybe, is what they took it. So I see what you're saying. I argued with myself there.
You did. You went on a journey. I just listened.
You took a ride.
As for the Paul is dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. First off, when you play it backwards, it does sound like he says Paul is dead, miss him, miss him, miss him. There's like clear as day. Forwards, though, it's Monsieur, Monsieur, how about another one? Now, I did that, our little app we have that we can record and put it backwards.
Yeah.
I get miss him, miss him, miss him. I don't get Paul is dead man when I say it. So it must be the accent.
I was going to say it's
got to be the accent. Then the last one that you just covered, sorry. The Revolver 9.
Revolution.
That's what I meant to say. I didn't mean to. Revolution 9. And it says, Turn Me On, Dead Man, when it's saying number 9, number 9, number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me here. I don't know. I got nothing. If you say number 9, you can hear.
A hell of a coincidence.
I think so,
sorry. I think that's just a coincidence.
I do too, because you say number 9 and you can hear.
So, is John saying that Paul turned him on? No.
He's a necrophiliac. He likes to fuck dead people.
Yeah. White Album. I don't know how to finish after that.
Anyways, let's go to Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
This really has nothing.
Yeah, there's just another hand over Paul's head on the cover.
As we discussed earlier.
It is what it is. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Sorry.
What's up? Yep.
I knew I wanted to say something. First mention of Yoko in the episode. Uh-huh. Have you ever seen the video of when she performed with John and Chuck Berry?
I have not.
Okay, do you know the story of this?
I do not.
All right, fun story for you listeners.
All right. Should I strap in?
There's a video on YouTube of this. You just look up what I just said. So
we're not doing the fuck work for you. Just look it up.
John Lennon and Chuck Berry are doing a concert together.
Yes.
Yoko's on stage with a tambourine and a microphone. Midway through the song, she starts screaming, cackling, and yelling into the microphone. And you can look at Chuck Berry's face when she does it, and he's like that. He makes like a what the fuck face. And then she started doing it again, and the story goes that there was a music tech behind the audio tech behind the scenes, fucking unplugged her microphone because she's wailing into and you can't hear anything. And Chuck Berry and John Lennon are singing, playing guitar, and she's like, like right into the
fuck.
Yeah, you got to look. I'll show you that video later. It's fucking hilarious.
Was she whacked?
Whacked?
Crazy.
Oh,
not dead. Whacked. We're not in the fucking mafia, Lennon.
I don't know what you're saying.
Did we whack her?
I don't know. There's lots of
Was she whacked?
Lots of stuff about Yoko and John and all that.
But this episode's not about Yoko and you. It's about
Abatha Road, also known as Abbey. No, Abbey Road. On the Abbey Road. Yeah,
you were there.
I was there at night. I walked across that crosswalk.
You held up traffic.
Speaking of the impressive crosswalk, yeah, I'm sure people probably avoid that shit there. Like, I'm going to go around Abbey Road.
Fucking tourists.
Fucking
There's
tourists.
a line.
Well, on the cover of Abbey Road,
Yep.
you can see the Beatles walking away from what appears to be a cemetery. John is leading this quote-unquote funeral procession, dressed all in white, looking like Christ, with his long hair.
Long hair and long beard.
Yeah. Ringo is next in all black, and he acts as a pallbearer, while Paul is next up with the rest of the barefoot. Well, Paul is next up behind Ringo, while he's walking barefoot and out of step with the rest of them. And behind him is George, who is in denim and signifying a gravedigger or a funeral attendee.
Which I think they did that on purpose. The order, how they did it. I think they were trying to signify that shit, but I don't know. What were they doing? They're just dressed like you want to dress.
We'll talk about it in your rebuttal. The Volkswagen Beetle in the background has his license plate 281F or IF. That's IF.
That's IF.
Yep.
28F.
The Volkswagen Beetle in the background has the license plate 28IF, representing that Paul would be 28 in 1969 if he were still alive.
Yes, sir. All right, well, Paul was naked. No, he wasn't. He was not naked.
He was naked under those clothes. Bet you shower naked too, you dirty slut.
I usually do it with a thong on. So Paul...
Oh, God.
It's a thong, and in the front it has a Buffalo Bill, so when I get excited, they're charging. Anyways. So it was a hot day, so Paul took off his sandals. That's why he's barefoot.
He's always barefoot.
Again, you can see all these in the outtake photos. They took, I think, 6 outtake photos. They took 6 outtake photos. And the one they used is just the best one. The other ones, he had sandals on.
Sure.
He was in step with them. They were always in the same order, but yeah, it just was the best photo. Thought I'd just.
They were walking out to go get lunch.
What are you talking about?
They were in the middle of recording, and the recording session, and they walked out to go get lunch, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll just take a picture here."
Okay.
As from what I've always read, not always, but from what I read about the album.
I did not read that or hear that.
I could very well
You could be
wrong.
right. I don't know. I didn't research why they took the photo.
You did the research, so I didn't have to.
But they tried to get the bug, the Volkswagen Beetle.
Sure.
They tried to get it to move, but they couldn't find the owner. And because they were blocking traffic, they couldn't take the time to get a tow truck and have it towed, so they just took the picture with it in the background.
It worked.
Also, the license plate doesn't say 28 if, it says 281F. And lastly, Paul would have been 27 at that time, not 28. So, those are the only clue rebuttals I have.
Well, on the back of the album,
Yeah.
to the left of the word Beatles, there are a series of 3 dots
When you trace them,
that, if you connect them, it reads 3 Beatles.
yes.
A hint, possibly, could it be that there's 3 Beatles?
I got nothing for that one.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, on the compilation album, Yesterday and Today, what is it? That songs you're saying?
It's a compilation album, Yesterday and Today.
Okay.
It's an actual album.
Okay. Well, on the
It's a
compilation,
fucking album!
on the
Album!
Well, on the compilation album, Yesterday and Today, the cover of it, Paul is seen in the center, covered in meat and the bodies of headless baby dolls.
Yeah.
Both an indication of his car accident.
Incredible.
And on the reissued cover, turn the record sideways, and Paul looks to be in a casket.
Yeah. If you turn it sideways.
Yeah. If you turn me upside down, I will look like a vampire. That's fucking Christ.
Issue here is both covers were made and released prior to Paul's apparent death in 1966.
Yes.
Paul is the man.
Paul McCartney?
No, Paul Bunyan.
Oh, got me.
Now, I know we were touching on just the clues from the albums, which that was the last album, right?
The last
Yes,
album.
that was the last album.
We obviously couldn't hit all of the clues because over 50 years there's
a lot of them.
Shite ton.
So those were the main ones from the albums. But there's also the thing about, I almost called him Pete Best again. Billy Shears being, picked and turned into Paul.
Yeah.
Paul's crash. I'm sorry.
Accident.
No, they're saying one of the smoking guns is the scar on his lip. that he had.
Yeah.
Paul crashed his moped in 1965 in December, which is where he got the scar on his lip and a chipped tooth. This led to him wanting to grow a mustache to hide the scar.
Yep.
So that's where that scar came from, whichever side
That's
it's
where
on.
his mustache came from.
Yes, not because Billy Shears. Billie Jean is... Oh, wrong fucking singers.
They it was the whole Justice League reshoots with Henry Cavill and the mustache gate.
So bad.
It was that all again.
I like the Zack Snyder one, personally. A little long.
I hate both of them. Anyway.
Well, I'm a Marvel guy, so Marvel's more my tang.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your thoughts to start.
Well,
on the whole thing. The conspiracy that Paul was not Paul.
If my mannerisms throughout this episode haven't made it clear, I do not think that shit is real.
This whole week, I was sitting here like, yeah, Lennon's going to think this is real. I had this feeling you were going to think it's real.
Yeah.
And I was not going to think it's real. I was like, this is going to be a great conversation we're going to have. Well, that just went out the window.
Sorry.
No, if you don't
do you want
think
me
it's
to
real,
tell you my thoughts on why?
I do, yes.
All right.
We're probably going to have a lot of similar thoughts.
Sure. I said, look, did not die. Did not die. The scale of such a cover-up is on par with faking the moon landing.
Yes.
We were talking about completely deleting a person from existence and replacing them with someone else, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
The argument could be made that his death was hidden to keep Beatlemania going and keep money coming in, but I personally do not suspect the three members to be that selfish or greedy.
Right.
Especially taking into account the brotherhood and friendships that they had.
You also got to think that, like, to put plastic surgery and make someone look like Paul that already is like a look-like. Sure,
right.
Maybe you can do that. To give him the same voice, the same singing, the same talent, the same writing skills, and do that with the record label, his three friends, his family, any of his friends, all never saying a word to this day.
Right.
Highly, highly.
Like, do a thought experiment. Imagine you yourself have the ability to plan your replacement by tomorrow, by 3 days from now.
Yeah.
And
Give
have
them all the memories.
Exactly. Well, you'd be dead, so you can't do the aftermath.
Nope.
You're gonna replace me 3 days from now.
Jesus.
So how would you logistically do all of that? And you and I aren't even in like the spotlight of fame.
Right.
So like there's less people who would know the difference, and it's that difficult already. And I have a quote here from John who talked about it in 1969. He said, "It's a lot of nonsense. Paul McCartney couldn't die without the world knowing it. Couldn't die without the world knowing it. The same as he couldn't get married without the world knowing it. It's impossible. He can't go on holiday without the world knowing it. It's just insanity. But it's a great plug for Abbey Road."
Yeah.
It's good.
Other thing is the alleged car accident, November 9th, 1966.
Yes.
I've seen two things. Either one puts Paul not at the place. He either was in a different car with Mick Jagger, or the other one I've seen more prevalent is that he was on vacation,
Right,
and there was evidence of him being on vacation.
Right.
So he's not even in the same place.
Yeah.
So now, as for Capitol Records, I had a little thing on them.
Okay.
Like, why would they leave? Okay, we both don't think it actually happened. So let's just say, why would they leave the rumor and not try to dispel it? Fans were buying multiple albums of the same album because they would ruin the first one to play it backwards, and then they buy a second one just to listen to. So now you're buying two per like your sales are going up. You're making a lot more sales.
It's like when Elvis, in his campaign, they sold both Elvis pins and pins against Elvis, because they sold both sides of the coin because it's money going out, and it's just smart. But
they knew the hoax was making them money, so they did nothing to dispel the rumors and had no shame in capitalizing on all of it. So I have a quote now from a sales manager from Capitol Records. In November 1969, Capitol Records sales manager reported a significant increase in sales of Beatles catalog albums, attributed to the rumor of Paul's death. Capitol's vice president of national merchandising established that this is going to be the biggest month in our history in terms of Beatles sales. The rumor benefited the commercial performance of Abbey Road in the U.S., where it comfortably outsold all the band's previous albums, Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour, both of which had been off the charts since February, re-entered the Billboard Top LPs charts, peaking at number 101 and 109, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they dispel the rumors when it's just making them money?
Exactly.
So that's the last bit I had on my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it. I think Paul is Paul.
Definitely, yeah, it's definitely
still extremely
intriguing.
talented.
Well, yeah, for sure. It's definitely intriguing and
For sure.
like you said, it gained in popularity.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it just adds a little bit of like
Mystery.
yeah,
Lore. Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I mean, the Beatles are the Beatles and they're phenomenal, and their music is creative and genius, and all of their like, I don't know, everything that they did to put into it is just that it added a whole nother layer to it.
Absolutely. So that's that.
Yeah, didn't happen. Now, me as somebody who subscribes mentally to a lot of conspiracy theories.
Yes, you do. And that's okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a crackpot.
I can't wait for the episode where we're different opinions of it, which I really thought was going to be this episode, and I was excited.
Yeah.
But you let me down, kid.
Sorry.
I'm kidding.
I'm fired.
Anyways, your conspiracy-riddled mind.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, no, oh, that's, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't like, no, I don't think this didn't happen.
Okay.
I don't think this didn't happen.
Hey, it's okay. It's all good.
Paul's alive. But
agree.
even though there's lots of other more outlandish theories that I think are real.
That's okay.
So
that was the conspiracy on Paul McCartney's death. Next week, we're going to talk about, did John Lennon make a deal with the devil and the devil came due in 1980? Well, don't find out next week because we're not doing that.
No.
That is actually a conspiracy rumor that they have.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I mean,
one.
we couldn't do a whole episode on it, but
Well, everybody in Hollywood supposedly makes deals with the devil.
that's what we need to do.
Ah.
Oh,
Well, let me
specials.
get the knife. I'll cut
Here
my
we
hand.
go. I had to cut my hand. We're good. See? Hand is cut from a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. Now Grandma's going to stop listening.
Why? It's not the real. It's the.
I know, but she doesn't like when you guys talk about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, every time you guys bring it up, she yells at you to shut up.
I don't know. I don't bring it up.
Or I
often.
could be wrong, and Grandma, I apologize for calling you out for nothing.
Well, it was a bloody mess.
Yeah.
Just like.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was really going to try and do the outro with an accent.
Yeah,
I don't
you
have
should.
the confidence level anymore.
It could have been a bloody mess.
Well, ladies,
go do it. Come on. Come on, you can do it.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Squatches, thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. If you'd like to reach out to us and let us know your thoughts or opinions, you can do so by finding us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and also on our YouTube channel. The links will be in the show notes below.
Hello.
If you enjoy what we do here at Don't Touch My Sasquatch and would like to support us, join us on our Patreon to get bi-weekly bonus shows, discounts on merch, exclusive Patreon-only content, and lots more to come.
All that for as little as $5 a month.
As little as $5. Just keep a Squatch alive.
Yeah. You haven't played that ad in so long.
We haven't done that in a while.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. Hit the subscribe button for auto downloads to listen first thing every Monday morning, and you can drop us a 5-star rating or a review. We would love to hear from you, and this will help us to grow and bring you more content for you to enjoy.
For sure.
For sure. Join us next Monday for our next incredible episode. You may write us, rate us, review us, but remember to always stay curious, be vigilant, and don't touch my Sasquatch.
Don't do it. He's still pondering yesterday.
Oh, my troubles were so...
Peace.
See ya!
That's my line.
Did your line.
Let's do it. We all live in a silly fucking dream.
Please wait.
7 minutes in. Okay.
Thank you. Well, come together, everyone, and let's learn the origin stories of these nowhere men
Right now.
in...
No one swore.
It's like your breath sounded like a jet turbine winding up.
I was getting ready to go. Fuck. Already another cut. I'm so sorry.
Don't be.
I thought I fixed this issue before coming. Sorry, honey. You got a little juices on your face.
Jesus.
I started choking.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Need a drink without ruining equipment.
That was a noisy drink.
We're going to do a show on trampolines.
Sorry. Girls on trampolines, actually. Fucking lies.
Oh, shit! I shit my pants.
Who put all this shit in my pants?
Funeral. Paul. Faces. Camera dead as other three. You're right.
I didn't think you're doing word for word. This was just clues from me. Word however you want.
Get that shit out of there.
Play that record, fat man. I'm joking.
You know, I worked through this.
Can we cut that? Because it made it sound like I was calling you fat man, but it was just like a joke.
I know it was. It's okay. God damn you.
What?
Typed in John McCartney.
I love the day we were outside. I think it was after lunch or getting lunch, and I said peace, and he goes, "See ya." Oh, I do say that.
I do say that.
I had 4 fucking "Don't touch my Sasquatch" things in my head. All of them went out the window when you said, "And remember, don't touch my Sasquatch." I'm like, oh shit.
Same with me, because like, ladies, gentlemen, and stuff. See, I can't even do it anymore. I forgot how to do it. I forgot to fucking do it. I can't do this shit. I quit.